Hey everybody, and welcome and happy Thursday. It is I, your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Seeby. Happy Thursday, guys, and Thursday is part of our series of writing that we like to call Picture This. Picture This is when I give you an image, a photograph, a painting, any image without words, no words, just an image. And your job as a songwriter is to write a chorus based on whatever image that I give you. Now, and I tell you this every week, and I'll continue to tell you this, there are no rules other than it has to rhyme, it has to tell a story, it has to make sense, okay? Whatever the picture is, whatever it makes you think about, that's what you should write about, okay? So there's no, I mean, I would like it to pertain to the image, but this is a personal thing, so there's no rules in that regard. The only rule, like I said, is that it has to rhyme, it has to tell a story, and number 3, it has to make sense. And when I say it has to make sense, it universally has to be understood by the masses. Even if it was translated in another language and it became a #1 song in France, and the translation from English into French, it would still have to make sense. The story still has to make sense to the listener. It has to be like universally understood. Not an inside joke, you know, where only a couple people get it. It's got to appeal to everyone. It's got to be able to relate to everybody, no matter what language it's translated into. I hope that makes sense. Why do we do this? Well, I mean, listen, I think that everything around us is an influence, whether we're even aware of it or not. Even things that are subliminally going on around us, we pick up subliminally. What I mean is unconsciously we pick these things up no matter what it is. Sometimes I hear a song and I'll write something similar and then realize like, oh my God, like it's too close to that song. Maybe that was playing in my subconscious and I wasn't really paying attention to the surface until I listened to it, and then I'm like, well, I got to change this. This is too close to that, you know. So, and that happens to a lot of people. It's not just me. It happens to so many people. It's everything around us is a influence, whether we know it or not, and that is the gospel truth. So, but getting back to this assignment, this particular assignment, picture this. I want you, and there's a way to do this, and you know, whatever works for you, but this is what works for me. So what I do is whatever the image is, I stare at it for a while. I really look into it, stare at it, until I kind of fade away and I daydream into the picture. I daydream in the picture. I listen to, I listen to my mind and see what my mind is saying. And I go off into a daydream. When I pull back and I'm sitting back at this desk and I'm looking at my phone or my computer, then I grab my paper and I start to write down everything I saw in my daydream. And then I want you to look at the actual photograph and take inventory of everything that's there. If there's a tree in the background, write down tree, mountains in the back, a field, a balloon, whatever it is, write it down. It might all pertain to your story. And it's not just pictures. I do this as a creative exercise because it really brings out your creativity. Sometimes you have to work and you have to put your game face on between 7 and 10 o'clock at night. Maybe you're not feeling creative between 7 and 10, but you have a writing gig with somebody and you and this person are writing and they're paying you to write. They're paying you to come up with an idea lyrically. You have to put yourself in the position to be creative on a moment's notice. And this I found out over years. This took me a long time to figure this out. Over years, I started realizing that like pictures really, they paint, you know, figuratively and literally, they paint a picture. And you are, you know, looking at this image and you're coming up with a whole concept based on just a still image. And I do this with movies. I do this with other songs. I do it with hearing conversations 2 tables down at a restaurant sometimes. I can hear a conversation and I'll go, oh my God, what that lady just said is a song in itself. And I make mental notes and say, okay, I have to remember that, you know. But everything around us can be a song, really. I mean, you have to just know how to tap into that resource, you know. So even these are little tricks. So even when you're not feeling creative, these are cool ways to get into the creative mind process so that on a moment's notice, you can be creative even when you don't feel creative. These tricks put you in the mood to be creative. And like I said, movies can do this. TV shows can do this. Conversations, meeting new people, pictures, still photographs, paintings. Go to an art museum. There's a million paintings. You could write a song based on the paintings you see in an art gallery, you know? So you never know. But if you know how to tap into those resources, you can always come up with something creative. Because, you know, like all of us, I don't always feel creative. Sometimes I just want to zone out and watch TV or check my emails on my phone and just, I don't have any thoughts of creativity. But these are ways to get you acclimated so that you can jumpstart your creativity like that. Flip a switch and then suddenly you're in that zone. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to show you guys right now the image that I picked for this particular assignment. So without further ado, here is your photograph. Enjoy. Okay, so you saw the image. You see what it is. Somebody drew a heart on a window, you know, like the steam on a window, and they drew a heart. And the sun is coming up. So it's bright and shiny, very colorful image. Looks like maybe it rained or there was morning mist. It was very, you know, wet in the morning with dew, and then somebody drew a heart on the window. Excuse me. I've done that before. I've drawn things on windows, you know, when it's foggy or my car is dirty and you use your finger to write something on the window. So I'm staring at this image. I looked at a lot of images too, and this one just, I don't know, it stood out. It was cool. Looked at a lot of them, but this one, for some reason, said something to me. It really spoke to me. So I'm going to read you what I wrote. But before I do that, I want to remind you guys, when you do this picture this exercise, look at everything in that picture. Everything. I know there's not much to this one, but there's still enough to draw upon. Write down a list of all the things that are in the photograph. Physically write everything down. The window's dirty. It's wet. It's a mediocre drawn heart. There's a solar flare in there from the sun. And I just thought it was really cool looking. And there's a lot of story there. I think there's a lot of story there. So let me read you what I wrote for this, okay? So here it is. There is a fire that's been burning way down in my soul. You really got me where you want me. I'm under your control. I think about you every minute, every hour, every day. 'Cause home is where the heart is, and that's where I want to stay. It just made me think of, when I saw the heart, of course, it's on a window, it's in a house, and I just thought, home is where the heart is. The first thing that popped in my head was that saying, home is where the heart is, right? And I thought, That's a really cool name for, you know, a song. People say that all the time, home is where the heart is, right? So there might be a song already called that, but this is another one. There's always room for another one. So I'll read them again, my lyrics. There is a fire that's been burning way down in my soul. You really got me where you want me. I'm under your control. I think about you every minute. I think about you every minute, every hour, every day. Because home is where the heart is, and that's where I want to stay. So that's my lyric. And I have a melody for that. Well, I'm still kind of developing the melody. I have a sort of an outline for a melody, but I will have a better outline melody. Maybe tomorrow in class for live Zoom, we'll work on a melody for that particular set of lyrics. I can't wait to see what you guys write for this picture. You guys have been sending me some great stuff, so I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with for this. So until we're out of time, so until we meet next time, this is your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Seavey signing off. I love you guys. Be safe. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the Zoom class. All right, guys. Love you. Peace.